Hello, today we're going to be using malachite, and we're also going to be using Prussian blue from the CRACKLE range. We are also going to be using other blues and greens, and I'll name those as we go along. I've got some cold press watercolor paper that I've taped down, and I've deliberately put a lot of water on there, and I've added the Prussian blue and the malachite along with an indigo colour over the top. And I'm imagining that the top half is going to be the sky, so I've got a blue-grey there and I'm just deepening those colours, and I'm sort of imagining that the bottom is going to be the sea. So I've just let that dry, and I've grabbed some golden crackle paste, and I'm going to put that liberally on the bottom where the sea is going to be. Got an old brush there, putting it on nice and thick, and then what you need to do is let that dry. So it can take 24-48 hours for that to dry, and then you'll see a lovely crackle effect on your page. So I've grabbed the malachite again, and we are going to do a sea base. So liberally putting this colour here and there on that white crackle paste, and this is just a layering process, adding colour until we're happy with that base layer. We are going to add some more colours onto that crackle base, so don't worry too much at this stage. We're just getting that base colour down. So I'm darkening up the sea areas by adding some paint here and there, and it's the same colours that I've used from the sky but slightly lighter, so with a bit more water there. And I'm imagining we've got a turquoise blue there, and we're also using a turquoise green, and now I'm just darkening up some of those areas in places. So you're going to let that base layer dry, and I'm just going to add the horizon, which is a very dark blue. So you're going to let that base layer dry, and once that's dry you're going to get a smaller paintbrush. So going back into the colours, I've got the blue-grey deep here, and I'm looking at the page and I can see where the crackle paste is, and I can see where it's crackled. So I'm just painting in between those crackles into the little sections that have been left by that crackle paste. Being a little bit random, so just looking at the page and going, I'll put some paint there, I'll put some paint here, not worrying too much about it, just continuing until I want to change the paint up. So this is the blue-grey deep, so I'm going to use other colours that I've used previously, like the turquoise blue, the malachite and the Prussian blue. So just randomly changing them as I go along, imagining how the sea would look with this kind of pattern. So if you imagine the moon shining down onto your sea, and the dark bit areas and the light areas, and it's sort of intermingled, so they're all over the place, aren't they? All that light reflection and all the dark areas where you can see the depth of the sea. So just adding some detail here and there. In places, some of that crackle glaze didn't really crackle, and if you get that, then just paint on some little squarey kind of shapes, oblongy kind of shapes, and once your painting's finished, it actually looks as though that's crackled underneath, so you don't actually notice areas that haven't crackled as well as you would have expected. So we're going to do the moon now, and I've got this measuring cup, and I'm just putting that on to the page, putting it in where I think roughly I want the moon to be. Got a watercolor pencil, and I'm just drawing around there, and then I've moved the measuring cup to the side because we want a half moon crescent in the gold, and then we're going to use this gold acrylic ink, and we're also going to use bronze acrylic ink. So I've just got a very small brush here, just grabbing that ink, and we're doing that crescent moon shape here. Just dragging that ink around and down the page. So this is from Kate Rebecca Leach's new book. It's the front cover, and you can actually pre-order this book. I have got a link below. I am affiliated with Amazon, so you might want to have a look at that. You might want to purchase. I do earn a small commission. You may be able to find this cheaper elsewhere, or you may just want to copy what I'm doing, and that's fine. I've also listed the Crackle glaze, and again you might find that somewhere else a lot cheaper. I've used the golden Crackle glaze because I had seen Kate on her Instagram account. She had used some golden Crackle paste, so I was hoping that's what she'd use for this picture. And I've done all the little sections where the Crackle paste is, and I'm just laying it over again because I could see the blue coming through that ink. And then I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to use the copper. So just opening that up and just filling in that space just there, just round in the moon. So the copper seems to cover a lot better than the gold. I don't know why, maybe because it's slightly darker colour, and I'm just filling that in there. So making sure that that's all done, being very careful, trying to get a perfect circle. It can be quite difficult at times. And then I've just got some white paint on my brush, and I'm just dabbing for a few stars. So dabbing them here and there all over the place. And then I've got a white acrylic Posca pen, and I'm just deepening those star shapes by putting a little center in there, and it just makes them look as though they're shining, they're sort of twinkling. So I have heated up the tape, and I've made sure that it's really heated because I don't want that Crackle glaze to come off, because I know how upset I can get if things don't go to plan at this stage. So really being very careful, peeling it off here and peeling it off at the bottom. So I think it's made it, and I'm really quite happy with that. So I'm just bringing it up to the camera so you can have a look at that, and I think it's turned out well. I don't know, let me know what you think. I would love to hear. Maybe you'll want to subscribe, maybe you'll want to like. I'd love to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.